Right, yeah, so the next part is this. So as you can see, these are the straps. So what I've decided to do on this strap here, which is the left shoe, is just to mark this up. If you do it in pencil, then it means that you can erase with a nice clean rubber, not a skanky old shitty 100-year-old rubber. You can erase all the marks off it, so it's pretty decent. So all it is basically just lined it up at the top, lined it at the bottom, and then basically drew the marks going this way, so it's in line with the left and the right of the N and the E. And what I did then is I've actually got this really handy tool here, which happens to be pretty much the right width for it here when you go over the Nike. So I used this. Once I'd marked it all up, I then sliced it out using a really sharp brand new blade. So good quality knife. Even better actually is those really cheap thin yellow knives from like Wilkinson's, or cheap plastic ones with the bits you break off, because the actual blades on those are really sharp and they're really thin, so that's even better. And obviously cut through, try not to cut through the piece below. So that's good there. Obviously I have to leave some board at the top, some board at the bottom. This type here, as you can see, is stitched. My original type down here is not stitched, so that one there is really easy. So what I did for that is I just peeled the two pieces in half, and basically ultimately laid the end and re-glued it. Super easy. And then cut a little hole out the end for the wire end to feed through. Obviously this one is more difficult because of the stitch. Obviously I could go out and buy some new vinyl and then stitch on the Velcro, because you want the Velcro stitched on all the Velcro pieces, which is obviously doable, but then you really need a machine to run this round, and obviously skill and all that sort of stuff. So I thought, let's just use straps which are there. So now I'm going to cut down this EL panel, a little bit at the bottom, a little bit off the top, in order for it to be able to fit in here. And then what I'm going to do, maybe the difficult bit, is I'm going to pop out the wires from here. So you can normally put in a small little tiny little screwdriver in one end or the other to gently pull the wires out, and then I can poke the wires in from this way through I'll cut a little notch out sort of here somewhere for the wire to come through, and then reattach a socket about here somewhere, and then then get this piece here in. I'm kind of thinking that potentially going in this way from the top is best. Yes, I could slice it open here maybe and slide it in that way. I'll see. I'll have a look in a minute and see how it goes, and then in the next part of this video I'll do a follow-up. But yeah, that's the bit there. So it's all about precision, sharp blades. So it's not that blade there. Brand new sharp blades is what the key part is. Cool, let's go. Right, up, also here's the next part. So I've kind of pretty much done the first strap. So you can see it's obviously all held in place now with this. You have to be very careful with super glue, not to get any super glue on the black, on the Nike aspect here, because obviously otherwise this sort of stuff here just goes, when it hardens, it's really difficult to get off. So that's why I've put it on very carefully. Okay, so that's on there done, plugged in, boom, looking good. Okay, so that's the easy one. So this one here is the simple one. So this one here, the Nike EL's there, the wire comes off it, runs down here, runs for a little cutout just there, and then runs down into the socket which is there. So there's a nice easy one. So now this one here, this is for the opposite shoe. So what I've done for this one here is this strap here was originally on this side here. Now if it's on this side, what you'd have to do for this to work, because these all have the wire coming out of the same side, is you would have to bend it over like this on its back, and then install it like this with it bent over on the back. That means you lose about 2 inches of wire here of length. So that means my connector here would be about here somewhere. Also, I don't really like the idea of having it flat and bent backwards like that, because I think that will make it a bit of a weak contact here. So maybe eventually it might break because the strap takes a lot of movement on and off. So I didn't like the idea of that. So what I decided was better was to cut the stitching on the other side here. So all you do is you just slice through the bottom here, and then basically the stitching comes out. So you can see here that the stitching is gone on that sort of centimetre down here. I wasn't able to save it, unfortunately. So took the stitching off, and then simply then got this thing here, flipped it around. So this strap was on that side, now it's on this side. So now this unit here matches this one here. So you'll see that the curve is at the bottom. So that now means that I can now get my next one and install it in exactly the same manner. So this is basically going to be a duplicate of this one here. All that means is when the shoe is on, so when the strap is on the trainer, it just means that the clasp part here is on the same side. So just an example, here's a shoe. For example, on the left, if on the left shoe here, the clasp is normally on the left side, and then on the right shoe, this clasp is normally on the right hand side of that right shoe. So now it just means that both clasps will be on the left hand side of the shoe. So it's no drama. No one's gonna look at it and think, oh, the clasp's on the wrong place. Doesn't really matter. I think this is better in terms of it's better for the long term use of this wire here. So that's cool. And to be fair, the clasp on that side is all good. So yeah, so that's all good there. So what I've done, so what else I've done is I've now I've got the template. I'll keep this template here. Now I've got the template, cut it out, obviously the right angle, slanted, so it's in line with the Nike on there. On this one here, what I tried to do is try to obviously poke the wire through. That was easy. Poked it through, then you used combinations like tweezers and long nose pliers to gently pull the wire through. What I then was able to do is then sort of wedge this in. But what happened, even though I'd cut off as much as I could off this, which ultimately is these two slivers here, so that's all you can cut. You can't cut any more. If you can cut the black bit off there, and you can cut a bit into the white bit and the gold, but on this part here, you can only cut off that black bit on this bit. So you've got hardly anything to play with. So what I had to do in the end is put a line of super glue, which you can just see in this light here, along this top stitching. I didn't have to go all the way across. I could have just done this bit here, but I went all the way across so it all matches. So you get, like, if it's glistening, you want it glistening the whole lot. And once that's dry, I can then slice through the stitching here, and then slice through the middle here of the stitching here. That means the stitching will stay in place and it will look beautiful, look detailed. It can then come apart, and then I can install it from this way, and that means that the panel, because of the fact that I can't cut much of it off, will sit beautifully on the bottom, just above the stitching. Obviously, I haven't cut this panel short, but it will sit just above the stitching here, and then this top section here will sit underneath the stitching, because you can't cut away any more panel, so it has to sit under the stitching. And then I can then glue this on top here, and it adds extra strength, and also retains the thread part here. So it's the best I can do. Obviously, ideally, this panel here would be 2mm narrower top to bottom, but they aren't gonna make these any smaller. That's just the way it is. So that's why I've got all these along the top here, the holders in place, because I've done it very gently, little dabs super glue, and same for the bottom here. There's obviously not much at the bottom, so it's all in good. Just get yourself some good quality instant super glue, and then happy days. So yeah, so I'm now just letting the super glue dry, and then in a minute I'll slice through that, and then basically just prepare this. I've got a bunch of these on order, another 6 or 7 of these on order. When that comes, I can install it, and then that strap is done. Cool. I hope that's useful tips. And again, you can mark it up with pencil, and then you can just use an eraser to clean it up. Cool. There we go. And there we are. Cheers. Yep, I ordered the last video for this evening. So yeah, you can see now that I've got the first of these straps in, and this looks really good. So this is the power supply that I'll be using. Nice and bright, and actually this large logo is bigger than the normal logo. It does look looking smart. So that's in there. Really pleased with that. I sealed it all in, and that's decent. Obviously, I've started to strip down the shoe. So you can see where I moved it. It's no longer lighting here, because basically it's an LED bulb that illuminates a tube. So that's fine. But yeah, it's all sort of like loose, all ready to go, which is cool. Same for the other side. And actually, this lighting here actually looks much better through the lens of this camera than how it looks to your eye. I mean, here it looks amazing, but it doesn't actually look that good in normal light. I mean, these shoes are fine, you know, just to wear it as they are, job done. You know, I would just stick on, you know, at least the Nike tick on there, and at least stick on, glue on, you know, the Nike logo, which you can buy for a couple of £, you know, £5, just for sort of glue on one. You know, this end, you know, you can use it as it is, but obviously I'm going for the full modification. So yeah, so now I just need to wait for the other ones of these to arrive. Hopefully these panels here will all arrive this week, and I can fit those in this week. And yeah, and I think tomorrow I'll start to cut these out. I'm not going to apply them yet because I need to do lots of bending here to get wiring in. So I'll cut them out so they're ready, but I won't glue them on yet because until it's ready to go. But yeah, I think that looks really good. And so now you can see that due to that modification I did with the strap, you know, where I reversed the strap on one of the sides, you can now see that you've got the clasp on both right hand sides here. But yeah, no drama, looks very, very good. There we are. Cool. And so once that's in, ready to go, it's all sort of cut out, all nice and neat, all glued. So yeah, we're looking good. Cool. Cheers. Yeah, so last bit for this video. See, it does seem a little bit criminal, you know, cutting these apart, but as we know, this one here is smaller than this one. So yeah, sharp knife. I was going to cut off each individual letter by just sort of slicing it off, but I'm kind of going to try for these small letters. I'm doing this and then slice it all as one piece if I can, because that way I think that when I put it on, it'd be more stable if it gets knocked or scuffed, whatever. There's obviously a lot more sort of glue power holding the whole lot together rather than individual letters. So what it is, I'll cut it off and I'll see how it looks. If it looks stupid because of the colour aspect, yeah, then we'll have to cut out each individual letter, go from there. So I'm going to try that first. These ones here, I will cut these ones here out individually, definitely, because there's a lot of area here, so when you do glue them on, you know, there's no chance of those getting knocked off. So yep, I'm going to have a go now. I might change the blade, go for a brand new blade, nice and sharp, so I can try and sort of slice these off. You know, you haven't got too much room, but you've got a bit of capacity there to get a nice blade underneath. Hopefully I won't go through it. So yeah, we'll go from there. And that's the last one for tonight. Cool, cheers.